Let me ask you a wild question. What if I told you there are human beings who, at the moment of death, don't just rot away like the rest of us, but instead, their bodies shrink, glow, dissolve, and turn into pure light? No, I'm not talking about Marvel superheroes or some anime transformation. I'm talking about real monks, real mystics, real human beings, whose deaths were witnessed, recorded, and even investigated. This mysterious process is called the rainbow body phenomenon, and it's one of the most fascinating mystical stories I've ever come across. So today on Mystic 11, let's dive deep into this phenomenon. What is the rainbow body? Who has achieved it? Is there evidence? And what does it mean for you and me? Sit back, relax, because this one is going to blow your mind. So first things first, what exactly is the rainbow body? In Tibetan Buddhism, there's a belief that at the highest level of enlightenment, the physical body is no longer bound by the same rules of matter and decay. Instead, it can dissolve into its purest form, light. The tradition says that when a master achieves complete realization, meaning they've purified every thought, emotion, and attachment, then when they pass away, their body doesn't decay in the usual way. Instead, it starts to shrink, glow, and eventually disappear. Sometimes, rainbow-colored lights fill the sky around the area. Sometimes, the body leaves behind only hair and nails, everything else melts into light. Think about that, a human body dissolving into pure energy. It sounds unbelievable, right? But here's the thing. There are actual cases where this has been witnessed and documented. Let's start with one of the most famous modern examples. In 1998, a Tibetan monk named Khenpo A-Chö passed away. He wasn't just any monk, he was a highly respected teacher, known for his deep meditation practice. Now, usually when someone dies, the body goes through rigor mortis, stiffens up, then begins to decay. That's the normal process, but in his case, something very different happened. Eyewitnesses reported that after his death, his skin began to glow faintly. Over the next few days, his body began to shrink. Not just lose weight, but literally shrink in size. From the body of a grown man, he reduced to something like the size of a child. At the same time, strange lights appeared in the sky above his monastery. People described rainbow-colored radiance surrounding the area. Some said the atmosphere itself felt charged, like something divine was happening. By the end, his body had almost completely disappeared, leaving behind only hair and nails. That, my friends, is what Tibetan Buddhists call the rainbow body. Now, this isn't just one story. There have been many similar cases, some even centuries old. Sonam Namgyal, 1952. This monk reportedly died and achieved the rainbow body. His body shrank dramatically, while witnesses saw rainbow lights in the sky. Nyala Pema Dundal, 1872, another famous master, said to have completely dissolved into light, leaving no physical remains at all. Khenpo A-Chö Rinpoche, 2011, a Tibetan teacher, with thousands of followers, who was also reported to have shown signs of rainbow body upon death. And it's not only Tibet. Similar stories exist in Christian mysticism too. Saints who glowed, levitated, or radiated light at death. We'll talk about that later. Here's something surprising. The Catholic Church actually took interest in these cases. Why? Because in Christianity too, there are stories of saints whose bodies didn't decay, who glowed, or who were surrounded by light at death. In fact, a Vatican investigator named Father Francis Tiso studied the rainbow body phenomenon. He traveled to Tibet, interviewed witnesses, and published research on it. The conclusion? While he couldn't prove it in a laboratory sense, the overwhelming eyewitness testimonies pointed to something very real happening. Think about it. When you have monks, villagers, and even Western researchers all saying the same thing, it becomes hard to just brush it off. So, what does science say about all this? Well, scientists are naturally skeptical. They argue that bodies don't just shrink and vanish into light. Some say it could be exaggerations, myths, or misinterpretations. But here's the interesting part. Modern physics actually supports the possibility. Einstein's equation, E equals mc squared, tells us that matter and energy are interchangeable. That means your body, my body, everything physical, is essentially condensed energy. So if someone found a way, through meditation or spiritual mastery, to reverse that process, wouldn't it make sense that the body could literally transform into light? It sounds wild, but the science doesn't completely rule it out. But beyond science, the rainbow body carries deep spiritual meaning. For Tibetan Buddhists, it's the ultimate proof of enlightenment. It's a sign that the person has gone beyond human suffering, beyond attachment, beyond even death. It means they've realized the true nature of reality, that the world we see as solid is actually fluid, vibrating, illusion-like. And when you fully awaken, you return to your original essence, which is light, consciousness, pure awareness. That's why monks dedicate their whole lives to meditation, not for fame, not for money, but for that ultimate liberation. Now here's where it gets even more fascinating. The rainbow body phenomenon isn't unique to Tibet. Other traditions have similar stories. In Christianity, some saints are said to have radiated light during prayer. Saint Francis of Assisi, for example, was reported to glow. In Hinduism, there are stories of yogis who could disappear or dematerialize. In Taoism, ancient masters spoke about achieving the immortal body, basically transcending physical form. So maybe, just maybe, this isn't just a Tibetan thing. Maybe it's a universal spiritual truth that shows up in different cultures in different ways. Now, let's bring it back to you and me. Most of us aren't going to dissolve into rainbows tomorrow. But the rainbow body teaches us something powerful. That the human being is more than flesh and blood. That spiritual practice isn't just feel-good meditation, but can actually transform our very nature. That we have hidden potential far beyond what we think. Maybe the lesson here is that we're not as limited as we believe. That with discipline, meditation, prayer, and self-realization, we can access states of being that seem impossible. Personally, I don't think the rainbow body is just a myth. When too many people across time and culture report the same thing, there's usually some truth to it. Even if you don't believe monks can dissolve into light, the symbolism itself is beautiful. We're beings of light, temporarily wearing this physical body. One day, we return to our essence. And maybe the rainbow body is just the ultimate reminder that we're not prisoners of flesh. We're eternal consciousness having a human experience. So let me leave you with this. Do you think the rainbow body is real? Could humans really turn into light at the highest level of enlightenment? Or is it just spiritual myth-making? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. And if this story fascinated you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Mystic 11, because we're just getting started. Every week, we'll dive into another mystical story that challenges what we think we know about reality. Remember, the truth is often stranger than fiction. And sometimes, the truth shines like a rainbow.